atong buhaton karon, atong limpyuhan tong ato ang pernary garden para nga pagdaghan na sa ato ang mga bisita. So nga ato ang fern daghan siya. Budugang po tagtanom sa other area pa nga ato ang katamnan. So na-form ang Balinsasaya Twin Lakes Farmers Association. Pinagi sa ato ang Office of the Provincial Government, former George Arnaiz. So karon nga ginahinay na og kuan nga nanang ato ang mga ecotourism activity, ato ang guiding, ato ang mga boating activity. So nakalikom na, naka-earn nagpundo ang ato ang Balinsasaya Twin Lakes Farmers Association nga makapadalagan nga kanang kami ragyod sa pinagi sa amuang mga opisyalis ug mga membro.
Nakasugod kog trabaho dire 2009. Sa pagsugod nako og trabaho daghan ming bisita itong mga panahon na pagkakaron nga naatay COVID. Mingaw na tagbisita dire. Kumparar sa una lahi na gud kaayo.
Kami dire sir pag wala nang turista marag wan mi kadumi sa COVID minus mig pring hambuyan pagkakaron. Wala income kayo. Tapos di pud mi maka kita og lain trabaho. Napigtahan gud tanan. Sa una nga daghang bisita medyo okay kayo din nga buhi karon nga wala na. Luga-luga gud ta ini. Ang gibuhat guro sa nga pagka aron nga COVID ta. Dagas og lubi. Ug kabaligya-baligya ra mig inagmay nga manok. Kumuhaan sa pingabuyan tapos na aramay mga tanom dito sa akong pares. Kamote, langhoy, saging. Kabag-abag ro gusto ang pinangabuyan. Ay isip mo kayo man tayo kapuntahan.
Before na COVID sir, kuan kanang amo ang maluto dire nami makahurot og mga pulo ka kilong manok. Sa una mo ni among katong before COVID mo ni amo ang mabutangan og mga order pasunod number 1 hantod unsa nga kuan lugos namang gani namo masunod og kuan sir luto kay tungod sa kadaghan. Pagkakaron sir kuan mingaw na kaayo. Nagani sa iska adlaw walay magpaluto namo dire.
Alahara ko kay sa una kay karon sa una magsinubra man ang pinangabuhi. Daghan namang mga turis taga laing lugar. Kumpara pagkakaron ultimo taga atuan din ni. Wala na gani. Ga duty with dire. Anay panahon nga wagoy bisita. Wagi mi income madlag pulis amo Sa wala purong sakita, ako motor dire ra gud impas. Siyempre kabulan ako motor ikas pagkuha na impas dire. Ani rang among bangka-bangka. Kay dagko mutog income. Karon dugos sa kita kapalit sa kilong bugas. Ay wa na gima income na to ini.
Before COVID, maka-income na ay 20,000 sa iska adlaw ra na siya. Dayon karon gikan atong July 18 nag-open mi dire. Gamay gud mi kayog income matag adlaw na aragoy kuan na itag 200 kapin sa matag adlaw.
Karong mga panahon na layo ro guys sa una. Sa una medyo kita sa adlaw ina mahurot ka anos ka semana. Kumpara karon. Daghan po kayo ngubulahan mga kauban ako.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, pero sa sila
our brothers and sisters who have contracted and are suffering due to the coronavirus disease, we pray that God's healing hand be rest upon you. To medical doctors, nurses, and the supporting staff who are in the front line of the fight against COVID-19, may the good Lord sustain you and inspire you to render your life-saving services with due care, love, and compassion. To all those who have lost their loved ones due to coronavirus outbreak, we convey our deepest sympathies. We pray that their souls, through God's mercy, may rest in eternal peace. We pray that God may grant all bereaved families his consolation and strengthen their faith and hope in Jesus Christ, the risen Lord. Amen. And magandang hapon po. Thank you for joining us yet another live show from the Department of Trade and Industry Region 7 entitled Youth Entrepreneurship Program, or YEP. I am Mary Anna Pale. I work for Payroller and a volunteer of Google Business Group Cebu, and I am your host for this afternoon's webinar. How is everyone doing? How was your long weekend? I hope despite the new normal, we are still able to celebrate and remember our loved ones who have passed, even if nasa loob tayo ng ating mga bahay. Sana din you guys are happy and healthy by staying fit, taking vitamins, and drinking lots of liquids. So for this afternoon's webinar, we have a very interesting and inspiring topic, since we are still focused on empowering and inspiring our youth to become successful entrepreneurs, which is why DTI Region 7, in collaboration with Google Business Group Cebu, came up with today's topic to do just that. We often hear about how successful a business is. We often tell ourselves, "Hi, sana ako rin may successful na business. Sana all." But what we usually don't see is the struggle that our successful entrepreneurs had to overcome to be where they are right now. And that will be the focus of this afternoon's webinar. We'll be hearing some of the business startup stories and some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the region. We can get to learn about their struggles and how they overcame it, and also what it feels to finally reach the success and how to maintain it. What better way to inspire the youth but to let them know the stories and of those who are flourishing in the business industry. And of course, like our previous webinars, after we get to listen to our young entrepreneurs, we will have a sit-down chat with them to give us a chance to pick their brains and learn more from them. Let's get this show started with the OIC Regional Director, Maria Elena Arbon, or Miss Nanette, for his opening remarks. Her opening remarks. Sorry, Miss Nanette. Hi, Miss Nanette. Kumusta po?
How are you? Fine. Yeah.
And okay. Congratulations, Madam, on being the OICRD of DTI Region 7. No? How does that feel?
Well, same. Still the same. Feeling the same. More work.
More work. Yeah, more collaborations, Miss Nanette. All right, Miss Nanette, take it away.
Okay. Good afternoon again. Welcome to this third installment of our Young Entrepreneurship Program, or YEP. This is the third, no? This is the third Tuesday that we're doing this. First, let me thank our guests for this afternoon. Eric Smith of Panduro Pizza, Ken Onozawa of Press Start Brand Studio, Joelson Fabian, co-founder and CEO of Polka.ph, JP Chongbian, creator of Let's Eat Pie, and Gio Visitacion of the Good Cup Coffee Company. Thank you also to our host for this afternoon, Mary Ann Apale of GBG Cebu. GBG Cebu is our partner for the YEP series we are doing this year. Today, we will be covering business startup stories. We have invited young entrepreneurs heading varied types of businesses to talk about their business startup journey, from ideation to market validation, managing the business, and of course, moving towards their vision or goal. These young entrepreneurs will inspire us with their stories of struggle and triumph. Every business goes through such, by the way. Hopefully, we will be able to reach out to other young entrepreneurs out there who are still looking, thinking, and trying to decide to take the entrepreneurial plunge. Times are changing, and the speed of change is accelerating. Now is the time for young entrepreneurs to take up the challenge. Technology is now front and center in the things that we do, and our digital natives are very comfortable in this environment. This is your time to shine, and we are excited to see how this unfolds. How our young entrepreneurs rise to the challenge. So I would like to end this opening statement with a call to our young entrepreneurs to contribute, help build our economy, help secure the future of our MSMEs, of our business, of our economy by starting a business, generating jobs, harnessing your innate creativity, and innovating as you grow your business. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Miss Nanette. And on behalf of GBG Cebu, we'd also like to thank you for letting us to be a part of this event. It's truly a pleasure and honor, Miss Nanette. Okay, before we go ahead with our program, let us get to know the young entrepreneurs that we have invited this afternoon and the topics they will be talking about. First up, we have Eric Smith, the general manager of Handaro Pizza, who will be talking about managing an age diverse workforce for young entrepreneurs. To talk about his business startup story, we have Gio Visitacion from the Good Cup Coffee Company. We also have Ken Onozawa, who is currently the brand consultant of Press Start Brand Studio Corporation, and he was previously the creative director of Spectrum Lifestyle Experience Incorporated from 2012 to 2019. We have JP Chong Bian, creator of Let's Eat Buy, who will also join us this afternoon to talk about his startup stories. And last but definitely not the least, we have Joel Son Fabian, the co-creator and CEO of Polka PH. At ngayon, kilala na natin ang ating lineup of speakers. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get inspired by the business startup stories of our amazing and very successful guests. Let's all welcome Eric Smith, who will talk about managing an age-diverse workforce for young entrepreneurs. Hi, Eric. How are you doing this afternoon?
Hi, Marianne. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm really, really good. I'm really excited. I'm very
Yeah,
excited about your topic. It's such an
thank you.
interesting thing. And I was wondering how was your long weekend as well?
Oh, it's good. I'm actually still here, quite relaxing by the beach. So, yeah, I go back
Oh,
to the city later. Yeah,
sana all nasa beach. All right, Eric.
yeah.
The screen is yours.
Hi, good day, everybody. My name is Eric Paulus Smith, and thank you for this opportunity to share with you certain insights and a discussion on a certain topic. So today, I'd be talking about how to manage an age-diverse workforce for young entrepreneurs. So, before I give you tips or let's say a discussion on how we can actually the tools we can use to manage an age diverse workforce, an important question is to ask why we should do so. No? So why do we have to manage an age diverse workforce, especially for us young entrepreneurs? So of course, first is in any workplace, we'd always like to keep the harmony among our workers. No? So one is to make sure that all employees are happy, that we are able to grow and cultivate healthy and happy relationships. And of course, because it's a workplace, the workforce is needs to be highly productive and highly effective. So we have to ensure the health of our teams, that they are working well. And when it comes to workplace regulations, having healthy relationships and a workforce that is managed well will allow us to cascade down the regulations that need to be implemented. Third is communication will have to really be, we have to ensure that communication among team members, among employees is at optimal levels, that, there is no room for miscommunication or it doesn't grow into levels of distrust so that the organization stays healthy. And fourth, for innovation and creativity. Um, Managing an age diverse workforce where they come from different perspectives, different backgrounds is very important so that a culture of creativity and innovation is nurtured also in the workplace. So now that we've established some points as to why we need to manage an age diverse workforce, the first point that I'd like to share as to um, how we can manage this kind of setup in our workplaces is by understanding the generations present in our workplace. So this could otherwise be known as understanding the generation gaps present. So in our workplace, we have colleagues of different ages, and vital there is knowing where they're coming from, knowing their backgrounds, and one way of doing so is by understanding the general generations from which they come from. And when we talk of generations, this means the social, political, uh, environmental situations by which they grew up, no, in their time. So this gives us their general personalities, their general preferences, and we are able to understand their general behavior and motivations towards certain things. And this is very important because not only do we get to know them better, but this gives implications to leadership development. Of course, in a workplace and as a young entrepreneur, as a manager, as the boss, you have to ensure that growth for your employees are present, and so you are able to pinpoint already which of your employees are in the running to become the next leaders of your team. So by understanding their generations, you're able to better pinpoint which persons to put in which positions, and it becomes very useful when you talk of strategic planning as well. So generally, based on research now, they say that there are six generations present. Technically, there's four or five that are present in the workplace. And we begin with what they call the greatest generation. These are those who were born in 1901 and 1924, who in the 2020 would otherwise be 96 years old. The next is the silent generation, or otherwise termed as the silent traditionalists. Now, these are the ones who are at least 75 years old. In some workplaces, you'd probably see this age group. In others, they've already fairly retired, but maybe in family businesses, they're still present. The next are baby boomers, who are at least 56 years old. And the next are Generation X, born between 1965 and 1976. And of course, one of the largest groups is the millennials, or the Generation Y. And then the more recent ones are the Generation Z, born after 1996. So let's take a look at each generation and see what are some of the characteristics that are said to motivate these generations. We begin with the silent traditionalists. No? So this generation, they in this year they're already aged 75 to 96, and some of the events that have formed their experiences include the Second World War, um, rationing, fixed gender roles, rock and roll music, the rise of nuclear families, and defined gender roles, particularly for women. So the things that they aspire for in life include home ownership, and when it comes to technology, they're largely disengaged. These are the generation that is very manual pa, and the attitude that they have towards career is that jobs are for life. Their aspiration, their signature product is an automobile. And when it comes to communication, they are the formal letter types or the face-to-face types. So this generation has been motivated by respect, recognition, providing long term value to the company. And in their worldview, it's obedience over individualism, where age equals seniority, and it's about advancing through the hierarchy, through the ladder in the company that they work in. And as employers, you should provide satisfying work and opportunities that will contribute and also emphasize their stability. So they believe that promotions and raises and recognition should come from job tenure. So, who are the traditionalists in your company? This could probably be your lolos or your great grandfathers, great grandmothers. Yeah. So that's a silent traditionalist. Let's go now to the next generation, the baby boomers, born between 1945 and 1960. So by 2020, they're age 56 to 74. So these are probably your aunties, or even for some your parents. And this generation was formed from the experience of the Cold War, the start of the Cold War, the post-war boom of World War II, what they call the swinging 60s, the Apollo moon landings, youth culture, Woodstock festivals. They were very family oriented, and they saw the rise of the teenager. So compared to the Thailand traditionalists who aspired for a home, they aspired for job security. And when it came to technology, they were known as the early information technology adapters. So wala pa, we didn't really see much of the personal computer at this time. Their attitude towards their career is one that is defined by employers, so very organizational. And the product that comprised their generation was the television. And when it came to communication, they still prefer face to face, but have already started using the telephone. So the baby boomers are been motivated by company loyalty, teamwork, and duty. They see the world with in terms of achievement that it comes after paying one's dues, sacrifice for success. So they're very hardworking, this generation, and they say that if you don't work hard for it, then you don't deserve it. And for us employers, we should see to provide them with specific goals and deadlines and put them in mentor roles, offer coaching style and feedback. So in companies now, baby boomers come very handy in mentoring roles. Now we usually pair them with the younger generations for the younger generations to learn a thing or two about them. And later on, we'll know that it really does go both ways. So that's the baby boomers. Who in your company do you think are the baby boomers? The next generation is Generation X, those born between 1961 and 1980. So by 2020, this generation falls between the ages of 44 and 55. This could be your kuya, your ate, even your uncles, and for many of the younger generations, these are your parents. So some of the experience that has formed their generation include like the end of the Cold War, the fall of the Berlin Wall, Ronald Reagan, Gorbachev, Margaret Thatcherism, the Live Aid concert, and the introduction of the first personal computer. They also witnessed the early mobile technology, and they were considered as latchkey kids. No? So latchkey meaning when they go home, they come home to an empty house because their parents are very busy working. Yeah, and they've witnessed the rising levels of divorce. So in life, they aspire for work-life balance. And when it comes to technology, they're known as digital immigrants. When it comes to career, they are loyal to their profession, but not necessarily to the employer. So when it comes to communication, though they still prefer face to face when it comes to financial decisions, they're already comfortable with email and text messaging. So Generation X is basically motivated by diversity, work-life balance. Their personal, professional interests come first rather than the company's interests. And the worldview for them is that they favor diversity and they're quick to move on if their employer fails to meet their needs. They're resistant to change at work if it affects their personal lives. So, as employers, what should we do? We should give them immediate feedback. We should provide flexible working arrangements and work life balance and extend opportunities for personal development. So, think of the Generation Xers that you know. No? They are also said to be very independent, they're achievement oriented, they have strong technical and entrepreneurial skills. And one of the funny things is they're also naturally questioning of authority figures and are not intimidated by them and individualistic. So sometimes you can describe them as a fairly like a rebel, or they're very independent. And I think this is one of the rising generations nowadays as well, who you see as the heads of companies, especially here in Cebu. So what falls after Generation X is Generation Y. So these are also known as the millennial generation. So one of the largest demographics, or let's say generations nowadays in the workforce. So in Generation Y, or millennials, they were born between 1981 and 1995. So by 2020, they fall between the ages of 25 to 43. I myself am part of this generation, and some of the Western experiences that we've encountered include the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the Sony PlayStation, the Xbox, social media like Facebook and Friendster, MySpace. If you remember Multiply, we witnessed the invasion of Iraq, the rise of reality TV like the Big Brother, Google Earth. So our generation aspires for freedom and flexibility. Would you agree? No. And then attitude towards technology for us is we're pretty much digital natives. Though we've grown up in an environment where it has been analog. No, we've seen the shift to digital, and we've also managed to thrive in that arena. When it comes to career, we work with organizations and not for. So that's a very big difference from baby boomers and traditionalists. The signature product that we are very proud of now are our tablets and our smartphones. And when it comes to communications, we actually prefer online and mobile. So very limited face to face, except for, as they say, when making financial decisions, we would still prefer face to face. So for the millennials or the Generation Y, we are motivated by responsibility, the quality of our manager, and unique work experience. Work life balance is still very important to us. In terms of worldview, we actually seek challenges, growth, and development. We want a fun work life balance. And we would likely leave an organization if we don't like change. So, as employers, we should get to know the millennials personally, manage by results, not be too micromanaging, be flexible on, on our schedules and work assignments, and provide immediate feedback. One of the interesting things here is that millennials work to live now rather than living to work. So millennials are also described as technological savvy, easily adaptable to change. We can easily multitask. We're highly educated but opinionated. We're fairly demanding and have less direction. So for those watching now who are in the millennials, do you see yourselves in this kinds of this description? So who are the ones you would like to work with in your workplace? So they say that millennials want leadership from bosses and supervisors. They want to be close to their peers, and we want a job that provides great and personal fulfillment. So sometimes we gravitate towards baby boomers for wisdom. We gravitate towards the Gen Xers for the adventurous and fun kind of a workplace. Yeah, but we also gravitate towards the new generation, which is what they call the Generation Z. So this generation is born after 1995. In 2020, they fall under the ages of 24 and younger. And some of the experiences that they've witnessed include the economic downturn, the 1998 to 2010, global warming, global focus, the rise of mobile devices, energy crisis, the Arab Spring movement. And this generation produces their own media. They've seen the rise of cloud computing and have also witnessed the WikiLeaks controversy. When it comes to aspiration, the Generation Z aspires for security and stability. Now, compared to the millennials whose attitude towards technology was that they were digital natives, for Generation Z, they are considered as technoholics. They're entirely dependent on IT with a limited grasp of alternatives. So, when it comes to career, Generation Z would multitask careers. They will move seamlessly between organizations and pop up businesses. So, and on when it comes to communication media, they prefer handheld or mobile devices even more than the millennials, and would prefer video aided communications like FaceTime, Skype. This generation naman is motivated by diversity, personalization, individuality, and creativity. Their worldview is that of self-identity as digital device addicts, and they value their independence and their individuality. They actually prefer to work with millennial managers. Do you agree? And they love to have innovative coworkers and want to use new technologies. So as employers, we should offer the Generation Zers, opportunities to work on multiple projects at the same time because they can easily multitask, provide as well work-life balance, and allow them to be self-directed and independent. Now, this generation might be moving really fast. They may even be smarter than all of us, but uh, they may even be more self-directed. But some of the things about them is that they are said to not be team players. They would rather work with on their own with their devices. They would collaborate. They're very creative, but they face the having to solve the world's worst environmental, social, and economic problems in history. That's why there's a lot of pressure on this generation. That's why they aspire for security and stability. Yeah, so most of this time, so those are basically the five different generations present in the workplace. And most of this time about them, we've talked about them on the lens of a Western experience. The World War II, the Berlin Wall, falling Berlin Wall, Cold War. But I was able to find a research produced by the Ateneo Cord, or the Center for Organizational Research and Development, which provided two different, which says that they found out that there are two different generations in the Philippines, and this can be grouped according to the political generation and the technological generation. So I don't know if you agree, but this is very interesting that you can pair with the Western view of generation. So what do they say about the political generation? This generation has seen historical markers like the Marcos administration, the first quarter storm, martial law, Ninoy Aquino assassination, EDSA 1, Cory Ramos, and Joseph Estrada administration. So this has, if I'm not mistaken, the Arab administration ended in 1998. And so, what is said about this generation is that they are more work centered. They are very family oriented. They are multitaskers and very decisive. And what is their view on effective leadership? This generation, are said to care more about people's welfare. They delegate, yet they are very controlling as well. Now, on the other hand, the study by Hechanova and Salvosa mentioned that there is this technological generation in the Philippines. And some of the historical markers include the rise of the internet. If I'm not mistaken, this is 1994 when it was launched or first connected in San Carlos. The rise of search engines, social networking, and the use of digital technology. I think many of us can see the clear difference between these two generations, yet they somehow overlap. And this technological generation is said to be very tech savvy, are carefree, laid back. They're proud, individualistic, self centered, arrogant, energetic, and adventurous. But when it comes to effective leadership, this generation sees leaders as those giving clear instructions, listening to and recognizing their followers. So you see the different kinds. This study helps you to determine leadership. No? So political generation cares about welfare, is controlling, but the technological generation is the more laid back. They want leaders who give clear instructions. They will follow, and they will also recognize those who follow them. So very nice study to consider when we study our own workplaces, and we can actually fuse the two studies, that the general view on generations in the Western perspective, and also the perspective in the Philippines. So I'll take you back one slide, and I skipped this, but this talks about basically, this is another chart on the generations, no, on the Western perspective. Here it presents you with six generations. And on the farthest right talks about the latest generations born after 2010. And they call them the Generation Alpha. This generation is marked with the Trump and Brexit phenomenons. Instead of the Model T Ford from the traditionalists, they're now the iconic cars in their time are the autonomous vehicles like you see in Tesla. Their iconic toys is the fidget spinner. Well, I can still relate to that. And their music devices include the smart speakers. So everything is about smart technology in this generation. Some interesting things to note no, in this slide is the leadership style. From builders down to Generation Alpha. From builders, you see that their leadership style is that of being controlling. Think of the people no, that who fall under this. Your lolos and lolas. There were more directing, and then your uncles and aunties have grown into the coordinating in terms of the Gen X and the Gen Y. Millennials are seen to be more guiding in their leadership style. For the Generation Z, those born 1995 after 1996, have been, see themselves as more of empowering and empowering other leaders. And then for the generation alpha, they see themselves within a horizontal, setup among other leaders, and they seek to inspire. For the ideal leaders of these generations, the alpha sees ideal leaders as co-creators, for the generation Z as collaborators, for the millennials as supporters. See, there's a stark difference from the traditionalists who see an ideal leader as a commander. So very, very different. You see the democratization of leadership, and the learning style has grown from formal in the traditionalists to structured, the baby boomers. Generation X is participative. The millennials is one of interactivity. And for the Generation Z is multimodal. So this is actually like the infographics. Uh, Information is presented in different ways from audio, video, and text. And then for the alpha, it's really now about virtual. You can really see that. Um, and in terms of marketing, very helpful. The builders were still in the traditional print media. Baby boomers was about mass broadcast media. Gen Xers about targeted direct, marketing. For millennials, it's about online. It's true. And then for Generation Z, it's about digital, social media marketing. But for Generation Alpha, they say that it's real time marketing. So things about going live and all that. So very interesting slide. So after talking about Philippine generations, here are some tips that we can, take, uh, or tactics that we can ensure positive interactions in our workplace. So this was taken from a research from Harvard Business Review. So we're presented with different generations, a Western perspective, a Philippine perspective. But let's make sure that we don't really dwell so much on these differences. So we may have the tendency to say like, oh, this is what's different about my generation and your generation. And so instead of viewing on the similarities, we're actually harking on the differences. And this is not, it doesn't help in the organization. We want to, create harmony. We always want healthy relationships. So let's try to avoid the potential to accept as true these generalizations, these stereotypes about the various generations. Next is let's make sure to build collaborative relationships. We get to understand and appreciate each other more when we have the opportunity to know each other. So by creating opportunities for our employees to interact with each other, they come from different generations for both work and non-work related settings, and this can help build lasting relationships. It can minimize misunderstanding. So important here is making sure in the workplace there are fun, there are team buildings, there are outings. It's not all about work. So that's also some of the workplace things we have to, as entrepreneurs, that we have to keep in mind. Third, we really have to let's study our employees. We by knowing their generations, knowing their demographics, knowing their personalities, we are able to understand their communication preferences. We not only get to know them more, but we'll be able to steer them in terms of putting them in cross-functional teams, selecting the right fit for them in terms of job function. And one of the interesting things we can use here is the personality test, whether they're phlegmatic, the four temperaments. This is a good tool also to see their personalities. Fifth is, let's not forget to create opportunities for cross-generational mentoring. Most of the time, like me, I'm a millennial. We would think that it's just us about learning from the older generation. But the older generation can also learn from us, especially when it comes to technology. And we have seen that very apparent in these times, post during the pandemic, when everything had to move online. We are seeing the movement into online education, paying bills online. So they can learn a thing or two from the younger generations, and it's going that direction. So the older generations will also really need to catch up on that regard. And for us younger generations, we can always learn a thing or two from their wisdom, from the process ideals, the values. There are many things for us younger generations who think about doing things so fast. The older generations teach us a thing or two about doing things properly, about the values of patience and things like that. And finally, we need to consider life paths. We need to understand where your employees are at in their life in terms of their responsibilities and interests they may have outside the workplace. And again, it's important that we uh, talk to our employees, get to know them better, so we know where to position them and we know how to deal with them in our workplace. So, as a millennial manager, no, to wrap things up, as a millennial manager, um, it's really important that we understand the workforce generation gap. So I hope I was able to give you some, brief traits about the different generations. That there's actually a study on the two different generations in the Philippines that we can also use when we study our workforce. Um, the second is, after understanding the workforce generation gaps, let's communicate accordingly. So we know where they're coming from, we know how they're motivated, we communicate according to what they are comfortable with. So we need to consider technological challenges as well and personality difference, especially dealing with the older generation. It's very important. And afterward, we have to. One of the things I'd like to share is that we need to serve rather than be served. That's one of the values that me as a young entrepreneur I'd like to espouse. That uh, it's also still about making sure that the values in the organization are implemented, having courtesy in the workplace, respect. We are the ones seeking out, and it's perfect being a millennial because we like to guide people. It's part of our personality, as they say in our generation gap. We seek for more purpose in the workplace, together with work-life balance. So let's live up to our role in that way, as to be of service to our peers, our colleagues, and to reach out to them, to give a listening ear, and communicate effectively. Some more insights. There is really no one size fit all management style. You may think, what is the best management style when it comes to workplace diversity or work age diverse workplace? But there are different tips, different tools that you can use. It really also comes with your character and personality as a leader, as an entrepreneur. And these are the tools you can use to get to know your employees better, to get to know your colleagues better, so that we can create more effective, um, highly efficient and productive cross-functional teams in the workplace. And of course, as management, we also need to adapt whenever there are changes in our workforce, because it's talking about age differences. So colleagues and employees come and go. So it's important that we are cognizant of that and that we adjust immediately. Don't forget about feedback and again, communication. Let's be careful not to box ourselves in the stereotypes. So again, the different generations provide us with likelihoods and tendencies of different generations, but let's not glue ourselves to that. You're a baby mover, so this is who you are, or you're a millennial, and you know millennials just can't really focus on their work. So things like that. We have to. It differs according to every person actually. And regardless of age, let's remember that employees are still human. Our colleagues are still human, and we go back to the basic values of cultivating human relationships in our workplace. We need to bring back respect, courtesy. Let's go back to our company and organizational values, and treating everybody in our workplace as humans lessens the humanization of the working environment. It allows us to actually become more productive, more creative, and it leads to a better life for all of us. So I hope the insights on this topic has been very helpful to you. I hope you can apply this one day in your workplace as young entrepreneurs. Take it as in an open mind, and it's a very interesting topic. So thank you very much once again for the opportunity, and please stay safe.
Thank you so much for that very insightful talk, Eric. It is very interesting to know, no, the study done in the Philippines and how it, shall I say, slightly different from the studies done in the Western countries. We have the technological one and the political one. Very, very interesting. So let's press ahead with our next speaker this afternoon. He is the brain and muscle behind the Good Coffee Company, and he's here to share his business startup story. Please welcome Gio Visitacion.
Hi, hi
Hi,
Marianne. Good
Gio.
afternoon.
Kumusta?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I personally would like to say that I'm a fan of your coffee. We
Thank you.
always order Brazil Cerrado. I'm just
Thank you.
wondering what is your favorite product among your variety?
I would say my favorite product are the coffees that are produced locally. So yeah, because we see that there's so much hope in terms of quality for local coffee. Yeah.
Oh, I'll try that next time. Without further ado, I give you Gio. Gio, take it away.
My name is Gio, owner and founder of Good Cup Coffee Company. So our company is in the coffee industry. We've been operating for 2 months, and at the same time, 2 years rather, and at the same time, we have experienced countless numbers of crises. We also experienced catastrophic events wherein it shook the business. And the recent one is the coronavirus pandemic. And at the same time, I would love to share with you how we look at a crisis and how we diagnose and what is our way of responding. So a crisis is like a typhoon, and at the same time, a business is like a house. So if you have a house, you will not see the leaks in the house not until a typhoon comes. So same with business, same with handling a crisis. So crisis management is by managing the leaks and the patches and identifying solutions on how to fix it. So we always start with analyzing the most brutal facts and the worst case scenarios and the things that we can never change with the current reality of the existing crisis in our industry. And the best way to confront and face these brutal facts is by identifying the realities, what's currently happening, and this will help us with plotting our next steps. So first, we have a priority of taking care of our people, and that is by keeping our team safe. So the whole team or the whole staff is the most valuable asset in the business. We need to identify measures on how we can keep them safe. So by identifying the certain strategies and aspects that on keeping them safe, we then identify on how can we operate by still letting them be safe. So one of the few things that we did is we gathered the whole team and the employees to one into a one apartment wherein we created our own bubble so that the transmission, the human transmission is just within the group of people, the staff. So by first identifying how to keep them safe, we then need to reassess and then reorganize and then restructure to fit with the changes that needs to happen during the operation. Let's say if there's one member who cannot afford to leave their family because he's the only person that's taking care of the family, and that's a time we need to look for someone who can replace that operational function of that person. So when you're facing a chaos, the best strategy is really to gather and to have a flexible group of people who can easily adapt and perform brilliantly to no matter what comes next. So you need to let them feel safe by providing them a safer environment to work with. And then you then move to the next step wherein you need to restructure your operations of whatever is the new normal operation. So that's how we look at things. We place the team. Uh, our priority is the employees should be the first asset that needs to be taken care of. The next one is collaboration. So for us, we need to reassess as well the end-to-end process, because it's not just our business that's affected by the pandemic. My supplier's business might also be hampered or affected. My delivery couriers might not be able to deliver. So collaboration is the collaborative cycle from supplier to our current business to delivering the product. That means the delivery couriers and the consumer. So the reason why we see our suppliers, our delivery couriers as our collaborators is that we cannot produce something and we cannot deliver something without them. So by assessing the supply chain cycle and by forecasting what needs to be done, let's say if our milk supplies cannot mobilize their product, what needs to be the plan B and what needs to be the plan C? So it needs to be a upstream and downstream assessment of how you can produce your product even if your supplier cannot provide you the raw materials in that product, in that certain product. So you need to assess your supply chain. And the next one is you need to assess your utilities. This can happen not just during a pandemic, but also, let's say, the call of nature's effect of earthquake, flash flood. You need to assess the utilities that are still functional, meaning the water, the electricity, internet connection. And then by assessing the utilities, you then assess the delivery process. So can we still mobilize our products? So that means the organization needs to be glued with the news to check the guidelines. And at the same time, the border controls, the new government mandates. We need to strategize to comply with these guidelines. Because let's say there was one aspect wherein last March we operated, and then Cebu was placed on a strict lockdown, so we cannot mobilize our products from Cebu City to Mandaue City. So we thought about different processes on how can we still deliver. So we plotted out a plan wherein someone from Cebu will travel to the boundary of Mandaue, and someone from Mandaue will travel to the client. So by assessing how can you deliver your product with different collaborative efforts, you then come up with an operational plan and process to adapt with the current new normal operation. So running a business is like an island, and you need a group of community so that the island can be functional. We look at our suppliers and our delivery couriers as our community and our collaborators. So you need to identify how to mobilize the end-to-end process of your business from supplier to delivery. And I would say that we are nothing without our suppliers. We are nothing without our delivery couriers. So we give them so much value as well. And the next one is our consumers, our customers. So if the business is if the business is a man, our customers is our oxygen. It's giving us, it's helping us survive. So, and then our internal organs is our team, my staff. So we need oxygen, we need the customers to survive. And by identifying how can we reach our customers despite with the current crisis, and how can our product still be important in their current lives despite what's happening. So meaning, how can we let the customers be aware that we are still operating, and at the same time, how can we re-strategize that? How can we communicate to them that we can still deliver our products to them, and at the same time, we need to be realistic we need to be realistic to the customer of how much we can deliver and where we can deliver, and at the same time, over communicate if there's a need, especially with the trouble of delays, with the ever changing government mandates. So our business, we deliver all throughout the Philippines. We deliver coffee from Luzon down to Mindanao and Visayas as well. We also deliver outside of the Philippines, so we deliver coffees to different parts of the world like Japan, UAE. We also deliver to Europe and United States. So how did we attract that kind of a customer demography even during the demographic, even during the pandemic, is that we identified what are the channels that we can connect and let these customers be aware that we are supplying their need of coffee. So it's more of a marketing plan that we strategize for them to be aware that we can still deliver, we are still operating to supply their need of coffee, and at the same time, that's where the most important aspect is we need to exert so much effort to add more value every time they purchase. Meaning, how can we increase the customer value? So how can we increase the customer value? As simple as personalizing our services. So one of the things that we did during the pandemic is we invested so much time, energy, and at the same time effort to increasing the customer value every time they purchase a product from us, even during the pandemic. Because if ever they purchase something from you despite the limited resources, let's say the pandemic is also restricting. No, our lifestyle has changed, and our behavior in buying and prioritization has changed as well. So we see every purchase as a blessing for us to give customers, like, how can we deliver happiness to the customer, and how can we improve on delivering happiness to the customers. So I'm so happy that I have a very customer obsessed team, and at the same time, we always look for ways how can we reach the customer by different delivery channels. The faster, the better. So next is relevance. Relevance is technically reassessing your current business reality from the customer's point of view, and then reassessing how you responded to the crisis by scoring your strategy. So relevance is, you need to answer these questions. Is my business still relevant? Is my product still relevant with the day-to-day life of a regular customer? By reassessing the relevance of your current business, you get to answer these questions. And how can I navigate my current resources to perform something that the customers need? So let's say if I am running a business of 1,000 employees, and then it's a food and beverage business, and now, like, the current reality is that the foot traffic has dropped to an all-time low. So how can I navigate that resources, which is the 1,000 staff employees, to a new service that I can offer to the customers to answer their need. So we need to sell. Like, one of the things that I've learned is that we need to sell a solution to a customer's need. And by rethinking and reassessing different strategies to answer that customer's need, we then come up with different strategies on how can we deliver our products and how can we design our products to our customers. So we need also to be realistic on where our product and service is at the level of customers' point of view. Meaning, if pre-pandemic or pre-crisis, your product is a very relevant product to the social cycle of a customer. During the pandemic, your product is not already a priority with the customer's needs because of the limited resources. How can you restructure and bring that back, bring your product to a different, how can you innovate and bring your product to a different level wherein it will be back as a customer's need? So you need to answer the questions to identify if your business is still relevant. Like with limited resources in any crisis, this is not just pandemic. Is my product or service still supplying a basic need? Is it still relevant? Do I still have all the energy in the world to perform and execute something for the customers? So these are the strategies. First is we see when we experience a crisis, we have a cycle of people, collaboration, customers, and relevance. And then, like for us, I'm very grateful that we have built a culture wherein my team has we have absolute faith that you need to have absolute faith that you will prevail in the end, regardless of whatever chaos that you will experience. We are not experts in crisis management, but like what I said, we have experienced catastrophic events wherein the business was almost shut down. At the same time, there's the latest one is the pandemic. The reason why it's important to have that kind of mindset to hang on and have that kind of goal that you will always prevail in the end is that you are forced to adapt, innovate, think, and perform with the ever-changing environment. So no matter what the environment will bring into your business, because the world is changing at a very hyper extensive rate. Like one day you might be the world's most loved phone like Nokia, and the next day you will be obsolete. So these are different crisis factors wherein you need to think different. You need to strategize differently as well. So the desperation of executing an idea in order to survive will give birth to innovation. So like from us, we are very happy that we are still serving our customers. We are still serving a growing number of customers, and the learnings that we get and the lessons that we get from this pandemic season. So that started like way back last March up until today, which is technically a very long a long season for the business to struggle, survive, and look for ways to innovate. We are taking it as an opportunity to learn, and we are taking it as an opportunity to innovate, and we are taking it as an opportunity to perform. So we are learning, we're innovating, and then we're performing from what we have learned. And for us, the core of handling a crisis is really to have a group of people that believes a group of people that believes in one mission, that is to survive. So if you have that flexible group of people who can easily adapt and perform no matter whatever comes next, it will increase your chances of overcoming a massive crisis that will hit in the future or might be tomorrow. So it's very unpredictable. And for us, we are happy, and I am happy that I'm in an organization wherein we have that belief that we will survive. So it increases our energy and our motivation to perform and execute with the ever changing environment. So I hope you get to learn bits from how we handled different set of crises from last year to this year's coronavirus. And yeah, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Gio. That was very informative and inspiring talk. It's good to hear that your team in at the Good Cup Coffee is customer obsessed. We'll see you again in a while for a Sofa Chat. Up next, we have one of Cebu's well-known marketing consultants, Ken Onozawa, to share his startup stories on crisis management as well. Hi, Ken. Kumusta?
Hey man, how are you? Konnichiwa.
Good. Well, konnichiwa. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you one of the co-owners of Common Grounds at Debacan? Is it?
With my brother, yeah.
Yeah, is it still open or how is it going?
Yeah, it's very open. It's been doing pretty well lately with the whole support local movement that we have, supporting the local brands and not just local brands but local businesses also. You can check them out on social media on Facebook and on their website also, cdx.ph. Yeah, it's been quite a journey, and as Gio said, I think innovation plays a key role in the survival
Yeah,
of.
I love the quote too.
Uh,
I'll watch that again later and then I'll write in my notebook. All right, so I want to lay this further. Take it away, Ken.
Hi guys, good afternoon. I'm Ken Onozawa from Press Start. We are a brand marketing consultancy, helping businesses reach their customers and stand out in the marketplace. So I think we're here to talk about crisis management and how we got through this pandemic and these tough times. Let me start by talking about the year 2020. So the year 2020, I think everyone was trying to, including ourselves, we were trying to gear up for the big 2020 year, right? And getting ready and leveling up our business and all of that. And as a matter of fact, last February, I spent a month in Manila just lining things up for the year. And then mid-March, everything just stopped. So everything was put on hold, right? And I guess it was a shock also to everyone. So a lot of things happened along with that. Contracts were put on hold. Some projects got canceled. But thankfully, what also was paused was our rent. So we're renting an office here in the Greenery, and they're kind enough to waive the rent for the time being, and that helped us a lot. Also, for our team, we have a pretty small team. So we took the time for ourselves also to kind of gather our thoughts and take some time off. Took the opportunity to take some time off because I think we've also been working a lot. So we did that, and we also took the time to work on ourselves and think about how to move forward from that time on. So now what? So with the time we had for ourselves, we did things that we put off. We studied, we learned, we worked on ourselves, started getting healthy again, fit again, exercise, and also again figuring out what to do next, right? So we decided, you know what? I think it's time we optimize the business and work on our strength. As a branding agency, I think the common misconception is that we are like a graphic design firm, but actually we're not. Although our graphic design is part of it, it's not our primary work. So just let me share. We'll get into that a little later, but let me share something that I remembered when I was in school. So this is a line that really struck me, and it's know what your customers want most and what your company does best, and focus on where those two meet. That's from Kevin Stritz. He's the author of the book More Loyal Customers. So I learned this in school, and I think it's a good starting point, a good foundation. Not just in times of pandemic, but in general, right? So with that, we took a look at the customer journey. So awareness, consideration, acquisition, service, and loyalty. So the awareness starts like how we ask questions like how during this pandemic how does the new customer behave, and how can we reach them better, and where are they, and where do they find us, where can we find them. The consideration part is like how are we able to help them decide whether to engage our services and products for our clients and stuff like that. And for acquisition, it's how does the customer purchase or buy your product or service, and the service part is more on the customer service part, like how can we better communicate with them, how can they better reach us, and if they have any questions, are we there to assist them, when they buy something and they have questions about it, or they have any returns, are we able to talk to them, are they able to talk to us, are we able to help them. And the loyalty part is, let's say that's where the reviews come in, incentives when on their next purchase, like how do we do that. So this we really just took a look at the new customer journey with everything on ground shut down. We took a look at how we can help them, how we can help businesses reach their customers online, right? Because in the new normal, the customer journey most likely would start online. Like you wake up, you pick up your phone, you're online, right? So it's a mobile first marketplace now, but it doesn't always end up online. Sometimes the customer journey starts online and ends up offline. Let's say food, right? So we took a look at our strength, what we do best. So last year, we invested in some technologies and worked on partnerships with platforms and solutions. So first was Engage, which is Near Me Marketing. This is our location management platform. So it helps put your business on the map and boosts your online presence. So it's easier for people to find your business no matter where they search, whether it's on Google Maps, Facebook Messenger Marketing. We are an agency partner of ManyChat. ManyChat is the world's leading messenger marketing platform. So with the influx in online in messenger inquiries from with their clients, we thought and we believed that Facebook Messenger was key in interacting with their customers, right? So this automates the conversation and helps create a sales funnel also through Messenger. So instead of spending so much time like answering all the repetitive questions from your customers, we automate that. It's kind of I think it's commonly known as a messenger bot, right? We also worked on a partnership with Shopify. We've been deploying online stores since last year, but it's really this year that the volume of the online stores increased with businesses going online. So working with Shopify has been great, and I think they're a really good platform to work with. We selected Shopify over the rest of the over the other solutions because of the ease of use and the back end and the benefits that our clients and the business can get from Shopify, like the ease of ordering, inventory management, even POS solutions, payment gateway integration, and it's also pretty affordable. They have really good rates for the Philippines. And next was with PayMaya. So of course, when you have an online store, people are gonna have to pay for your products and services. And other than the ever popular COD, I think online credit card and debit card payments are also have also been growing, right? So we chose to work with PayMaya. They have a really simple and easy to navigate payment gateway, and they integrate with Shopify as well. So that made it even easier to deliver. So let me start. So since we're a brand marketing consultancy, I'm gonna share how we made it through by helping other businesses make it through. So we're gonna start with the brand model, right? So I just want to share this. So the old brand model, the company used to create the brand which attracts customers and which sustains the company. But today, I think the consumer also the consumer plays a huge role in building the brand and the brand image. I think branding 101, brand is not what you say it is, but it's what the customers say it is, right? So now the company creates the customer or the demand, and the customer builds the brand, which sustains the company, and that's the cycle and the model that we're working on. So to start, Common Ground is we work with Common Ground. It's actually my brother's retail store. So we started at home. So with Common Ground is a brick and mortar store. Although it had its online store before, it wasn't doing really well. It wasn't really optimized, as the priority was the physical store itself. When the pandemic came, of course, stores had to close. Sales also suffered. And there was trouble getting product from our international brand partners too, like Converse, Puma, Nike, and all of that, right? So Common Ground decided to see what's available in the Philippines. So there was a big push in supporting local brands, and with this decision, there was a better inventory and better collection, and it's also a good thing to support local brands, right? With that, we redid the online store. We optimized their online presence so it's easy for people to find. We made it easier for people to order. Customer service also we had to work on. So if you had any questions, it was easy to reach on Messenger. If you needed to buy anything, you'd be quickly directed to the website to purchase. We improved also the payments, so you can pay GCash, PayMaya, cash on delivery, debit, credit card. And I think one important or key here was the delivery. So at the time, with the lack of nationwide delivery or the delays in nationwide delivery, we offered same-day delivery for Metro Cebu. So with that, sales slowly increased, and until after a couple months of pushing this and developing the store and optimizing the inventory and and the operations down to from purchase to delivery, CG enjoyed a 300% increase in revenue, not just the physical store, but also online store combined. So it really helped CG power through the crisis. And also we believe that just because there was a pandemic doesn't mean people stopped wanting stuff. So we learned that from listening to our customers and listening to what it is that they wanted and delivering that, taking them into consideration and delivering that for them. Another one we work with is a really good success story for this pandemic is Acacia Steakhouse. So Acacia Steakhouse is a small, charming steakhouse somewhere in Capitol Hills. And as you know, like as steakhouse, when you want to enjoy steak, you kind of want to go to the restaurant. Like it's normally enjoyed in a restaurant and not take out in a box at home. But with the restaurant not being able to operate, we had to do something. So collaborating with Acacia, the owner, Justin, we created a line, a steak out. It's a takeaway steak line that helped deliver the Acacia experience at home. With this, there was an increase in messages on Facebook Messenger, and they ended up spending so much time on Messenger that something needed to be done about that. So we activated the ManyChat, the bot, to help answer basic questions from the customers and help funnel them to help just the decision making and show them what Acacia had to offer, and eventually funnel them to the website to order. So with the website, we made it also super easy for you to order what it is that you wanted from the steakhouse, show their beautiful products, and even like I guess we're fortunate in this industry to be able to work remote because of the internet, and collaborating with artists and photographers also to pull this one off, right? So for this particular one, we collaborated with Kurt Fix. So we sent the kitchen assembled the food. It was sent to the photographer and he shot it from the house and he sent over the files to us and we uploaded them online to sell. So thanks to the internet, we're able to do this now, right? For the whole work from home thing. It was a pretty cool experience. So that's that for Acacia. And once we worked on that for about a month, and after about a month, they enjoyed the 25% increase in sales, and which kept growing and growing and grew to and increased 40%. Previously, they were only available on Food Panda, but when we opened an additional sales channel, their own sales channel, their delivery sales increased significantly. And when dine-in was open, we made sure that people knew that they were open and what time they were open and where they were. So this is where the Engage platform came in to optimize their online presence and make sure all their location information was accurate. Like their menu, you can see their menu there, you can see their phone number there, you can see their location there and their opening hours. And with that, from 0 to 100 at 50% capacity even. So from being close to having 0 sales to reaching pre-COVID sales levels at 50% capacity. So that's a pretty good achievement for Acacia, and we're really happy about that. And Justin, I just want to share like a really touching testimonial from him. What we did with him, no? So it's like, yeah, we really encouraged him to adapt to new customer habits, and we're really happy that he was willing to take a bit of a risk in doing all of this and invest in these platforms to help Akasha reach their customers better and engage their customers better and listen to their customers more and deliver what it is that the Akasha experience to the current customers. We're really focused on Akasha's current customers, and those current customers also contributed to getting more customers, right? So instead of trying to sell to everyone, we really focused on their customers first. Another one we were working on was the iStore online store. So what iStore wanted to do was to still be able to sell Apple. They're an Apple Premium partner, and what they wanted to do with the malls being closed was to still be able to sell the Apple products to their customers with ease, right? And so we've been working on this. This was launched a few weeks ago, with the malls open. So now there's a click and collect feature. So to prevent lining up in the store or crowding in the store, you can just buy online here, pick it up in the store, pay for it there, or pay credit card, and avoid any lines and just shorten your time in the mall. So that was important for iStore. Another thing that they offer is the service. So previously you'd have to go to the mall and wait and then line up and give your device, and essentially you spend a lot of time in the service center just getting all of this over with, right? And the technician has to check your phone and all of that. With them, we came up with a remote diagnostics. So you're now able to go online, fill out a quick form about your unit. The technician would call you, and through the Apple servers would diagnose your device, right? See what's wrong with it, see the health, and see the repairs that needed to be done. So this cut the waiting time and the time that you need to go to you spend in the mall just to be safe, right, and to minimize exposure also. So you can now do this, and when you're ready to go through the process, and when you're ready to have your phone repaired, you just go to the shop and drop your unit and spend just a few minutes instead of being there for like 30 minutes, right? So that really helped with the contactless service also. So it was more about like staying safe, but still staying safe and being contactless and still being able to do business. I just want to share a few companies and brands that we've been working with for the past few months in helping them recover and navigate through the pandemic, this really tough times. So like that's how we were able to go through this pandemic, right? Was helping our clients also survive the tough time. So with helping them, they were helping us. So it was really mutual growth that really helped us go through. So these are the three things that we really took into consideration, right? And we really did was to adapt, adapt to the current times and see what you can do to make the best out of it, right? Engage your customers. So really listen, see what it is that they want, and see what it is that you can deliver. Make sure you do what you're gonna say. Tell them. For a happy customer, right, was a returning customer, and they'll talk about you, and that creates more customers and more business for you. And one really important thing was to collaborate. So we aren't just hey, we need this, do this, and just come back to us later. No, like our process really involves, we really involve the business, and the business really involves us. And it's just not like making like posters here and there, but really taking a look at the product, the business, the operations, and a lot of internal things, just aligning all of those things to deliver a great customer experience. So collaboration was really key, especially in working with different artists, working with the owners, and we are a pretty small team in the brand marketing consultancy, but we work with a lot of design studios and photographers and other talent to get these done for our client. And with that, we always remember why we're doing this. And this is our why. We do this, making the world a better place, one brand at a time. So with this, we also consider like the environmental impacts of what we're doing, the efficiency of what in the business, cost-effective solutions, making sure there's less energy spent, there's less waste, let's say in packaging and all of that. So yeah, we really think of planet Earth when we do this, and this is our way of contributing to making the world a better place. So that's how we got through, and I hope you enjoyed that quick story. And if you have any questions, I think you'll be able to do that in a bit. So thanks guys for listening. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.
Arigato gozaimasu, Ken. We definitely learned a lot from your talk. We'll hear more from Ken in a while during our sofa chat, so stay tuned. If you love food, then you definitely know our next speaker. He is the creator of Let's Eat Buy. Please welcome JP Chongbian, who will be sharing how he handles crisis management. Hello,
Hi,
JP.
good afternoon,
How are you
Marianne.
doing this afternoon?
I'm good.
How's your long weekend?
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Oh, all right. So, JP, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Now I
Correct
can
me
hear
if
you.
I'm
Yes.
wrong, but you also own Sugbo Mercado, correct?
Yes, I'm one of the co-founders there.
Co-founders, yes. How is it going now, sir?
It's we reopened way back August, and since we're an open air food market, we gained traction again. So right now we're doing okay. We're doing good.
That's good to hear. I'm also a regular customer on Sugbo
Thank you.
Mercado at some point.
Yeah.
All right, sir. So I'm eager to hear your story, sir
We just
JP.
also recently opened our branch, which
Sorry. Yes, sir, sir.
sorry,
Please
it was
continue.
lagging. We just recently opened also our branch, which we were supposed to open pre-pandemic in Lapu-Lapu, which we just recently opened in October, our Lapu-Lapu branch of Supermercado.
Oh, so there's IT Park, there is Mandaue, and then there's Lapu-Lapu now.
And street food, our street food concept in Ayala Center,
Street
Cebu.
food. Yeah. Oh, wow. You are growing very, very fast despite everything. Congratulations on that, sir.
Thank you.
All right. I'm very eager to hear your story, Sir JP. The screen is yours.
Good day, everyone. My name is JP Chombian. I'm the founder of Let's Eat Buy Food Community. We are the biggest food community in Cebu as of date. I'm here to talk about crisis management. Well, we created Let's Eat Buy, or Let's Eat Buy became really known during the crisis, during this pandemic on March 16. Let's Eat Buy was a foodie venue before that. So 3 years ago, we were a foodie venue. And on March 16, we shifted to an e-commerce site. Now, we did this to help the stay-at-home Cebuanos connect to the online sellers. So on March 16, I decided to post from my news feed and Facebook about 3 sellers. We never had sellers in our site before. So from these 3 sellers, in a week's time, that grew exponentially to 100 sellers. And from our membership of less than 5,000 members, that grew double in a week's time to 10,000. So with that said, we had to put certain guidelines in order to help these online sellers also that grew, that we were too overwhelmed, because we had, like, at that time in the first week, we had hundreds of posts a day, which also only one administering the site, until we got to 20,000 members. And then I started hiring some people, or getting a team. So on the first week, I noticed that there's such an influx of online sellers, and the demand for the stay-at-home Cebuanos So the fastest way I could connect to these the Cebuanos to these online sellers is to create an online food directory, or as we call it, an OFD. So I'll forward this to the online food directory. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. So here on the right side, you can see our online food directory of Cebu City. No? So with this online food directory, we categorized each of the online sellers through household supplies, to meals, to fruits and vegetables. But I already knew in that first week that this transaction would take a lot of time, take 10, 15 minutes for a call. And most of those calls would be 50% would go through and 50% would just be questioning the seller on what they have. So I knew that I had to make something that would make the transaction faster for the sellers and the buyers. No? So on the first week alone, I conceptualized on making an app, which is now Cebu's first homegrown food and delivery app. But that transpired months after. So from March, we announced the app on August. But during that time, we had also to make certain guidelines, no? Because like with this influx of membership, like as I said, in the first week alone, it grew 5,000 more, it doubled. But on the third week, the 10,000 membership grew to 50,000, you know? So we had to make certain guidelines to make the community more organized. So these guidelines that we set, I'll forward it to its slide, is a benchmark to most of the food communities here in Cebu right now. So these are basic guidelines. I mean, these are just the basic things that we also do with another initiative of ours, which is called Supermercado, which is Cebu's first all year round food market in Cebu. So this one, I implemented this online. So these are just basic, no? You post your pictures, your actual pictures. You post your price. So with these alone, by that time when we were 50,000 members, we had thousands of posts a day already. So with the growth of the sellers and the membership, also our team grew to also cater to these the demand, and also to police the page if they're following the guidelines. So here, because what we noticed also, like people are saying like how much or PM, which would be not too direct. That the transaction would not be too direct. Hence, we place these guidelines like basic pictures, price, menu, mode of payment, mode of delivery, area of delivery. This area of delivery also was during the crisis because it was very, we were very unsure on our status here, no? When we were at GCQ, we became ECQ. We became locked down twice here in Cebu. So when we became locked down, the rules kept changing. No? So one of the rules were like you couldn't cross borders already that much. So our sellers and our buyers, our members, we were having a hard time to order or to cross borders. So what we did also here, if you notice on the second page of the slide, were the official hashtags or location hashtags, which is we hashtag Cebu City, Cebu North, Consolacion de Loan, Cebu South, Budisay, Maglinilla, Naga, Lapu-Lapu, and Mandaue, key cities of Cebu. No? So we sectionalize our online food directory, which came out once a month, to aside from categories of food descriptions, we categorize them also per city. So now Cebu had a more fluid process in ordering, since our online food directory would also cater to per city. So they knew how to order from within their borders. So as we grew along, when we reached 100,000 membership here, if you can see this, we still also put our guidelines also kept on improving. because we also hear what the community or our membership needed to protect both the sellers and the buyers. Because when we grew that time also, there are also some scammers, no? So we had to protect the sellers that time also by imposing or implementing some rules. So one of those rules also, when we reach 100,000 membership, we implemented a certified vendor program. So the certified vendor program, anyone can post in Let's Eat Buy. The certified vendor program was a program in where sellers could promote and brand their product further. So what are the benefits of? They if you see here again in their online directory, their names get highlighted. And eventually, as we said before, when things get better in Cebu, most of these or all of the certified vendors, which is part of our guidelines, no, should have a DTI certification. And then also, we'd be going house to house to see if their kitchens are up to standards with the LGUs or the Department of Health. No, so what we wanted to do is also from a single post in Let's Eat Buy, we wanted to uplift them or to make them a better entrepreneur or full-blown entrepreneur by also heeding the guidelines of our LGUs or various government agencies. No? So yes, so with that said, we had already two parts. No? From posting Let's Eat Buy, you follow the guidelines, you can post, your post goes through, your post gets approved by the admin as long as you can follow these guidelines. And then we noticed like if there's a highly engaged product, let's go to empanadas. We noticed like if there's a highly engaged product, a lot of posts would follow then, like a lot of empanadas, no? So with that said, we announced the app in August. So in August, we announced we had an app called LEB, Mobile Food and Delivery Service. So we made another Facebook group of this. This comprises of our app merchants. Now, what's the difference with e-commerce and digital? In e-commerce, as I said, anyone can post. So the posting there is infinite as long as you follow the guidelines, as long as you obey the rules within the community. Now in digital, you go to an app. So with the app also, you are certified to have at least a number of products or the same products as yours. Unlike in the food community, anyone can just post there. So in the app, you're more certified there. The vendors, the merchants that we bring there go through a lengthy process also. And they have more data analytics here. So in the data analytics that the app provides, it provides you the highest time of your sales, the demographics of your customers, location, age, etc., etc. So now you know how to target your product further to your more direct niche market. So after the app, we heard we had to innovate. So we heard what our membership wanted. So we innovated this further by collaborating with the Supermercado. No? So in Supermercado, so we have two. We have e-commerce in Let's Eat Buy Facebook community. And then we have LEB mobile digital platform. And then the third one is on-site. So in on-site, here, as you can see it says start your food entrepreneur journey with us. So by being on site also, it branches your product further. So imagine this, like most of our online sellers are home-based entrepreneurs. This is what we call the new breed of entrepreneurs, because out of this crisis, out of this pandemic, grew enormously the home-based entrepreneurs. With the home-based entrepreneurs, from posting in Let's Eat Buy or any food communities that in a food community in Cebu, we saw the need to elevate them, no? to more than just posting in a community, in an e-commerce community, by elevating them to a more organized structure. So with this pandemic, blew out this or formed this entrepreneurial ecosystem that we made as of today. So as of today, no one in the Philippines has this yet. We were the first ones to create this platform, and not only create this platform, but create it or collaborate it with the industry pioneers, like going back, Let's Eat Buy being the biggest food community in Cebu, LEB Mobile Food and Delivery App, which is Cebu's first homegrown food and delivery app. The difference of this to the other industry leaders is we cater towards, or we promote our online sellers. So the app is just a instigator of our food community. So from the food community grew the app. So the backbone is Let's Eat Buy. So because of Let's Eat Buy, we were able to develop this app. Hence, we're promoting or focusing our efforts with the home-based entrepreneurs. And now, step further is being on site in Cebu's first all-year-round food market and biggest, which is Supermercado. So we believe that the collaboration of these three platforms, we believe with this, you can start really your entrepreneurial journey. And also after you graduate from all three, we believe that with the guidance and with the branding and with the market we have, that the home-based entrepreneurs can be a brand in Cebu, a brand coming from Cebu, a brand coming out of this pandemic, with a fraction of the cost of pre-pandemic before. Because I'll just go back now. So I'll give you a brief testimonial from one of our, or several of our home-based entrepreneurs. So just like this, just like these entrepreneurs, like Cakes by Nicole, no? Cakes in a Can. So she's one of our certified vendors, and that's how we promote certified vendors also. Like the benefits of certified vendor, aside from highlighting them in the online food directory, we repost their posts once a week, because the members are only allowed to post once a week, so that's 4 times a month. So not to create spam, no, not to create too much jam in the feed. So our admins repost them also once a week, and we also do promos, and also we have our bloggers that promote for them outside of the food community. And also by being a certified vendor, they're also considered being the word, to be part of the app. They have to go through a process also to be in the app. So going back to one of our home-based entrepreneurs, when we just first started, this was May 21, so this is about 2 months after the pandemic started. So she was selling macaroons. So if you notice here, she's a student, she's a home-based entrepreneur, and she's able to sell 500 boxes in 3 to 4 weeks. And even after this, it grew even further. That's Doc Xavier Solis. He's one of our bloggers that blogs about our home-based or certified vendors. So yes, so out of this crisis, out of this pandemic or this crisis, it grew. We were able to grow this food community, not only grow the food community inside social media, but do it outside the e-commerce site or out of Facebook. So we grew it outside to the digital platform and to on-site. So with that said, thank you. And together with our other panelists here, we'll be waiting for your questions and we'll be eager to answer them. So good afternoon and thank you.
That was very insightful story, Sir JP. It's very interesting to see and learn how they grew even with the pandemic, no? So see you again later in a bit during our sofa chat. Last but definitely not the least, let's all welcome Joel Fabian to share his startup stories on crisis management as well. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Marianne.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm very excited sa inyong talks. I have been acquainted with you since your first startup on Lino, and
Oh
now
yeah.
you have Polka.ph. Are you brewing another startup soon?
No, none right now. Sorry.
Okay, so Polka.ph na again. Polka.ph na. No, that's how it's supposed to be read. Polka.ph. Okay, so excited to hear your story, Joe. The screen is yours.
Good day. My name is Jolson Fabian from Polka.ph. Uh, First of all, I'd really like to thank the DTI for inviting me over to give this talk. I really hope in the few minutes that I have, I could impart a few insights or key takeaways or advice that you, the audience, could really use as you go about being youth in the Philippines, being entrepreneurs in your own way. So without further ado, let me start off with my talk. The outline is really, it would be first, I would give a bit of a background or history about myself, maybe why you should listen to me. I'm not sure if I'm the best person for the job, but I'm very humbled to be here. So yeah, so I guess I'd like to start off really with my story and my journey into becoming starting my own company. And it all really started with many things. It started in college. I'm not sure how many people in in the viewers watching, how many of you are currently in school. Me personally, I didn't really have much plans for my future. I just really followed my, what um, what my friends did. So I just really went with the flow. I didn't really plan out what I wanted to be. So that was a big problem when I was young. And in college, I was lucky enough to be attending an event. Um, it was by the Idea Space Foundation, and they had a road show around universities around the country, and they happened to go to my school, and my friends were there, and they had their own group. They were a contestant there, and then the prize for that contest was a fancy phone. So this is way back in 2012. So you can guess my age by that. So this was really a fancy phone at the time. And so the cool thing was everyone in the team would win a phone. So I was like, hey, can I join this contest? I mean, right. So, my friend was already participating. So I was able to join his team. And, basically for that Idea Space road show for universities, we just needed to come up with a concept, a startup concept or a tech idea, and then we would just defend it, just through PowerPoint, nothing fancy. It's not really a hackathon, it's really an ideation contest. So here's something we came up with. It was really at the time, no, this was very groundbreaking, and it was kind of like a combination of Waze. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Waze. It helps us navigate through traffic. And then if you guys are video gamers, maybe you're familiar with Temple Run. So Temple Run is a free-to-play mobile game, and it's quite popular before in that time. And one of the hype things at the time was Nike Plus. So Nike Plus is a way for runners. It's like a Nike app that helps you, measure your steps, how far you've run, your speed, that kind of thing. So we had this concept because it really came down to one of our teammates, he enjoyed running. And we were just bouncing off ideas. How do you make a business out of that? How do you help people through running? So with software, the idea we had, it came to something like this. So it's the map of Waze with, the fun of Temple Run with, the metrics or the health aspect of Nike Plus. So we combined all of that, and it kind of morphed into this idea. We called it Run With Me. Oh yeah, so 2012. So this was very groundbreaking at the time because, it looks familiar. I don't know if anyone here has played Pokemon Go. So Pokemon Go came out in 2016, 4 years after our brilliant idea. No? So very interesting how, we kind of, I'm not saying I predicted Pokemon Go, but it's just interesting how, ideas can really change into real things in the future. No? So having this experience with, me and my friends, it was really like, a paradigm shift for me. At the time, I was like, whoa, we won this contest. We won this fancy phone. So we won the contest, by the way. And, I was like starstruck. I was like, whoa, this is like magic, right? It's kind of like magic where, you can just have an idea and it becomes reality if you work hard enough. So, I thought like, whoa, this is like, you could be a rock star in a way. So, I was young and like this, I got really into the whole idea of, hey, what if I could make something that a lot of people could use? And, I learned more about it. Like, just one example that I really like, this guy, he made an app, it's called Scholarly. It's basically a Google search engine for finding scholarships. No, I think a lot of Filipinos could really benefit from something like this, where, you just search like scholarship for something and then options come out. It's not like you have to, dig through so much information. It becomes very accessible, very easy to digest. And, it could really help a lot of people. So, with just simple things with software, we could actually achieve really great things. So that's how I really got into this field. So for one of my minor programs in university, we did take a sort of a minor program for entrepreneurship. So me and my friends, we none of us were programmers. We were all like management students. We hired someone to make like a school app for us. So it was basically like a planner for your school. It's kind of like, LinkedIn for students kind of thing. And, it didn't get anywhere. We had a bad grade. So, but, I got really into it. I was lucky enough to be one of the few, I was able to study in an exchange program with my school. So I was able to study in one of the good universities in South Korea. So there, I got to experience a lot of the culture. And, it really opened my eyes. So it's very different from the Philippines. And then like they're very tech oriented. They're very futuristic there. And, I learned some things along the way. Having graduated from university, that's when I got my first job at Samsung R&D Institute Philippines. So it's the Philippine subsidiary of Samsung, making all the new software for like smart home connectivity. So like when you go home to your house, like your aircon turns on automatically, something like that. So that's what we did at my first job. I was mainly in a bunch of boring positions. I wasn't an engineer. I was mainly in operations. So that meant finance, planning, strategy, project management. And, I was fortunate enough to get to also travel for work. I got to meet some of the people in headquarters. It was a very good experience, and it really opened my eyes to technology, especially how big companies worked. And that was my time at Samsung. I was there for 3.5 years. And at the same time, I keep thinking back to that experience I had in college where it was something that came from me, not necessarily, being a cog in a system of this large digital industrial complex of smartphones, right? So, while I was, working at Samsung, we were based in Taguig City in Manila. I just had this really random conversation with my friends where, it turns out like, so she messaged me. This is a friend from Korea, actually. So when I was studying in Korea, this is a friend of mine. She was from Japan. And essentially, what that meant was we would she so it was my birthday, and apparently like a few weeks after my birthday she sent over a postcard. So this is a postcard from Japan. I don't know if many people still write postcards nowadays, but I received this in the mail for the first time. I never received anything in the mail other than bills. So I had to reply, right? I had to do the right thing. So this is my experience. It's not the same. This is the U.S. Post Office. The Philippine Post Office is much worse. So having that experience, I was thinking, why was that so hard? So I left Samsung. I started my own mobile app startup. So we were called Only Note. We make every message special. And we were around for a while. The point was you could meet interesting friends along the way and turn moments into memories by writing meaningful communication. And at the same time, you could make it's not just a matter of it's like kind of like a Black Mirror, or kind of like how technology today is kind of making us less connected, ironically, right? So this was kind of like a solution against that. And it turns out I did have this problem. It was very real. A lot of people had this problem, but it was too niche. Not enough people had this problem, so we had to put it shelf it for another time. So after a year of trying to get it off the ground, we had to stop it. It's very expensive now. So after this experience, I really had to think, like, what's a real problem that most people have, right? So though this was a very valid problem, it needed, for it to be very feasible to become a real business, it had to be either a very big problem that a lot of people would pay for, or like, just like a problem everyone has, right? So I was looking for the real big problems. And then, just to share some statistics, I met up with some friends. We came up with this new company. 77% of Filipinos they don't have bank accounts. Probably two out of three people, they don't have bank accounts. And most Filipinos today, they don't have access to good credit. It's usually through not so flavor, not so good characters, no. So it's usually mga loan sharks, or very shady sources of financing, right? So we recognize this problem, and at the same time, one of our business friends, one of his problems was for employee happiness, right? So for businesses, a common problem is employees are hard to please, and there's a lot of intense competition for talent when you're recruiting. It's very hard. And how do you keep them on? You need to give them rewards, incentives, benefits, but this can be very expensive. We want to take care of our people, but how do we manage our budget, right? And there's always a constant need to innovate your HR program. So like, how do you keep people interested? How do you keep people always, excited to work for your company? So this is what we came up with. So this is our company now. It's called Polka.ph. We are a online retailer for, mainly gadgets, that kind of thing. And we make it easy for employees to buy the things they love, right? So you can think of us like a Lazada for employees, where anyone could just go to our website. You could go to it now if you'd like. I hope it's working. And basically, we make the whole shopping experience very, very easy and very, very affordable. So we do this in a lot of creative ways. And the main way we do it is through partnerships with businesses, right? So here are some of the things we sell. So we sell, most things under the sun, mainly gadgets. Now, we saw that people can afford buying like food, but at the same time, these are daily necessities that people need for their families, for their children, to stay connected in a internet world, right? So so we were lucky enough to grow the company over the last 2 years. So we started like in early 2018. So yeah, we're almost 3 years now. And we were fortunate enough to close some of these corporate partners of ours. So now all of their employees, they're enjoying this sort of shopping platform that we've built for them. And the really cool thing is like it really works, and we found something that people actually really love, because everything from the curation of authentic goods from verified suppliers to deliveries to the office, so it's delivered for free to your workplace, and then through your employer we can actually extend certain lines of credit to our customers that they can't get anywhere else. We can do this because we have partnerships with their companies. The HR or their bosses, they know, like, oh, this person's a long-time employee, mabait ito siya, so like there's no problem extending credit to these people. And and at the same time they help us with the payments. So the payments are done through payroll deduction, so it's paid over several months, and it becomes very, very affordable for them to flexibly pay for these big ticket items. And finally, our customer support, I would say it's really next level, because unlike Lazada or Shopee, where they have to serve everyone, the whole country, we just serve a very exclusive pool of customers, so we could really hold their hand and really take care of them very well. So I might be short on time, so let me just give you some key takeaways. So my topic really, so that was my background, right? And for my talk on crisis management, right, let me just I guess first of all share how we've been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. I hope everyone's all right at home. So our company, we were fortunate enough to still weather the storm. We do operate in a sense where we have to take care of our customers, so that they're in a good situation, so that they can also continue buying from us. So with our company, since it's not a one-time payment, unlike most retailers where it's a one-time payment, they forget about you after you buy something, right? They don't want to talk to you anymore. With us, since the payments are staggered over several months, our unique business model, we're actually incentivized to have this long-term relationship with our customers. And what we've discovered is, it doesn't sound fun, it's not intuitive, but what we found is the better we take care of them by making sure they're in a good place, by making sure that by keeping constant communication, we could actually build long-term relationships with them. And over the long term, we could have a great customer lifetime value, where they would just keep coming back and back to us. So we were very delighted to find that out. And so once COVID came in, we did what our company always did. We just stuck to our guns. So so yeah, let me just give you some key takeaways of what we've learned over the past few months from managing the crisis, right, at our company. So number one, I just like to share, at our company we are very resourceful, or in Visayan you could say we're very tihik, in a sense where we don't necessarily, we would only pay for what's necessary, right? So with our company, we're very unique. We never hire this and that. We take hiring very seriously. So it takes us like months, like 2 or 3 months to just hire one person. And we're a team of overthinkers, right? So what we've seen from overthinking the hiring process, what we think is like, you could actually lose more money over when you just make a wrong decision, right, at the onset of hiring. So because like there's cost in training, there's cost in processing their, if it doesn't work out, how do you handle that, all the time you waste. So one thing I would really like to say is like, manage your costs. And one of the main costs in any business is the manpower. So make sure every investment, every time you give, you go into this commitment with another person to work for your company, make sure it's really going to work out, and don't just do it to meet a deadline, right? Also, we are also resourceful in a way now. We don't spend on things that we don't really need. So we are in a online business. We don't really need a fancy office. We just deliver everything to our customer. So we actually just we incorporated our company with a very affordable space. It's actually a virtual address, but what that means is we could actually focus really on our funds on making the customer experience better, and making it grow in a better way. Because of this, a lot of our team, we actually work from home. We were already digitally remote since the beginning, since day one, and that's why we were able to get by this crisis, right? And so number two, like I said earlier, what we found was if you take care of your customers, they will take care of you. So one of the policies at our company is we do know that they will pay because they don't have a choice to pay. It's deducted from their salary, right? So what in exchange for that certainty, let's say someone couldn't work, we actually so they couldn't get paid by their salary. We actually just waive their payment for the month. We extend their payment plan until they get back to work and they could continue paying us. So some might think this is crazy, but what we found was like, we are there when they're in a bad situation. At the same time, our customers, they're also there when our company needs their help. So during the past few months, we unfortunately had to stop delivering because some of our clients, they preferred to wait a few months before we could get back into operation, right? And thankfully, like after just a short period of time, they started going back to work, and then things were back to normal. Like, so we're happy to say, like in this third quarter, we're back to pre-COVID levels actually at our business, and we're growing quite quickly, very, very, very soon. So there's that. And the last key takeaway I'd like to share with everyone is problems are bad, but at the same time, you could look at them in a different way where they are opportunities to help, right? So one of the key initiatives that at our company, what we were very excited about when we started operating again, there's this trend now of remote learning, right? Learning from home, where how will the whole country afford all these laptops for teachers or students, right? 800,000 teachers, 27 million students need this and that to learn online. And I'm not claiming we solved the problem, but at the same time, we're very proud that our company could step in and do our part in supporting our customers in whatever way we can. So I can't count how many people we were fortunate enough to help in the past few months, where their children, they needed a smartphone to be able to access their online class so that they could listen to their teachers. We've sold a bunch of laptops to teachers who really needed laptops for their class. There was one lady customer of ours. She bought a smartphone for her husband, who the husband worked for Grab, right? So that he needed a smartphone for his work, and we were there when she needed it. And we what we pride ourselves is we make it very easy for them, so they don't need to look around for a loan, or they don't need to go out of the house even. No, they just go to our website, order, in a few days it's delivered. They're happy, the payments are done over time, and we were there when they needed us the most, right? So we're very proud of this. And so I'd like to really call on everyone else here who's listening right now. If you could really, we all see the problems around today, and how can we really find the opportunity in those problems, right? How can we find ways to help? Know, like, we know the problem very well, so it's just a little more effort to figure out, like, what can we do, what can technology do, or teams or groups of people can do to really bring this sort of help to people in need, right? So before I go, I have like 1 minute left. So here's a parting quote I'd really like to share. It really touched me personally. So it says, action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. And so this is a quote from Benjamin Disraeli. So he was a ex-prime minister of the UK, I believe. So every major decision in my life, I've lived this way, where we might not be happy now, but we'll always be not happy if we don't do anything, right? I mean, that's for certain. So I'd like everyone here to act now, and see what can you do to manage this crisis. What can you do to bring to take advantage of these opportunities to help other people? So thank you. I hope that was informative. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you for that, Joe. And this afternoon has been very informative and inspiring. Now let's all bring back our speakers for our sofa chat, where we'll try to get candid with our speakers and, of course, try to squeeze more tricks and trade from them. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Marianne.
Hi. Okay, so we're just waiting for Gio and Sir JP.
Hello.
Okay, Sir JP is here. I think Gio got disconnected, so I think he'll just jump right back in. But my first question is for Eric first. So considering Eric considering that there's a different age group working and employed in your business, how do you develop, or how is the company culture right now?
Yes. So for Honduras, 60% of our workforce are actually millennials, while the rest are baby boomers and Generation X. So me as a millennial managing the business is actually kind of okay, because most of the majority are millennials too, like me. So simple matters naman. It all boils down to communication issues, to making sure things are done efficiently, the processes are followed. So there are no really big problems that can't be talked out and hashed out properly just by going step by step, listening to their concerns and talking to them slowly and step by step, face to face. It still matters.
Right. So it's like an open book culture right there, and then everything is just with good communication now.
Yes.
All right. So Gio's here from the Good Cup Coffee. For Sir JP, this question goes to Sir JP, Joe, Ken, and Gio. So we'll start with Sir JP, and then Joe, and then Ken, and then Gio. We have our first question from our attendee. The question goes, what advice can you give for those businesses who were badly hit by COVID-19 if costs must be cut in order to survive? Where should they cut the cost first? How much of their budget should stay to marketing for this difficult time? Let's start with Sir JP.
Hi, good afternoon. It really depends on which industry you're at, no? If I have to speak in behalf of what industry we're in, which is food business in supermercado, and in right now, Let's Eat Buy, which is a online food community. Right now in the online food community, everyone or majority of the people who were in brick and mortar or in retail before has cut costs by going online. So with the sudden shift on March 16, when we shifted to e-commerce, because Let's Eat Buy was a food event, and when we shifted to e-commerce, a lot of people realized the efficiency of the tools online. Now these tools really cut the cost. What costs are these? Rental, overhead costs, which is salaries, because you can do your marketing by yourself, no? Online by using these free tools. Now with the seed buy, it's a food community. So your niche market is really strategically targeted to people who want to buy or sell food. No? So with that said, a lot of because um, we have over 5,000 online sellers, 80% of which are home-based entrepreneurs. Now these home-based entrepreneurs realize with the shift in e-commerce, especially the restaurateurs, they realized that the profits they were uh, gaining on were more or less pre-pandemic wise, more or less the same because they cut a lot of overheads, which again I'll say the rental costs, salaries, and marketing costs. And again, yeah, they saw the free tools that you can use online and the platforms that they can avail of. It be Facebook, Instagram, or other food communities that are available.
Yes. So that's the case in your industry, which is the food
The
industry,
food, yes.
and yeah. But for Joe, Joe is already online, correct, Joe?
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what would be your advice for this question?
Yeah. So, just my take on it, Marianne. It would really depend on number one, your industry, and number two, really like what culture you have at your company. What are the things that you value? So, I really agree with what JP said about, everything's going online now. No, so everything brick and mortar becomes online, and with that, for our company, well, we don't really maintain any physical space anymore. It's purely online, so that's really helped us get to this point. And at the same time, I would also say, while we have this setback now, everyone's experiencing, we should also figure out like what, though we have to minimize costs, like what are other things we need to invest in at the same time, because you can save costs, but at the same time you need to adapt to what's happening now, and the only way to address those changes is to really invest in things. So that's why with us, we're adding new things all the time. So that's um, how we're kind of handling the pandemic right now.
I see. So you're more in innovation right now. And with Ken, since Ken is also is a marketing consultant, and then the question states that how much of their budget should stay to marketing for this difficult time. What would be your advice for that, Ken?
Well, I agree with Joe. He made a really good point that although you gotta cut costs somewhere, you also need to figure out where you need to invest or what to invest in to grow or to survive this. But on the marketing side, I think marketing doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be effective, and that starts with recognizing where your customers are and how your customers reach you. And with the current state, I think a lot of it is online. And like JP said, there's a lot of low cost or even free online platforms that you can take advantage of. And you gotta learn how to use that cost effectively also. I mean, Facebook's there to let you know what's new and all those posts, but there's a business side to Facebook. If some of the viewers don't know, that can really you can log on to business.facebook.com and facebook.com/blueprint. So that so there's a bunch of lessons there and a lot of tips there and a lot of business tools there that you can use for free to help develop to help boost your presence on Facebook and also help you create better ads on Facebook. Other than posts, you can create like really nice and engaging ads now for very, very, very low cost. Like the budget's really up to you, right? So back to what Joe was saying, like investing in stuff. So how much are you willing to invest to reach, let's say, 100K sales or 50K sales? How much do you want to invest to reach that? And I think that would give you a perspective now, worth it for the eye, right? So it's like it's not just like boosting a post, but like also thinking about targeting. So with online now, it's much easier to target. So you, like on a billboard man, diba? So like you put up a billboard, like everybody sees the shotgun approach. Now you can really target people's interests. people's location, um, and even the pages that they like. So it's become more cost effective. So you really get more for your 1 peso now. And I think investing in that, investing in learning how to do that, and also reallocating some of that money into reaching your customers is important.
Right? No, I guess it's the same with what Sir JP said. Like, take advantage of the free tools online. Gio, how about in your situation?
So our industry is our business is used to be a heavy brick and mortar. We're heavily focused with brick and mortar, but now since March we had to reallocate. We have to transfer all of our energy and our resources to the online platform. But we look at how we do a cost cutting is mainly into 2 points. So we look at a short term budget cut. So what are the things that are under the short term cost optimization? Those are how can we like in the employee side, who are the people who are working from home, and how can we renegotiate with them the compensation package. So these are some of the short-term cost optimization measures that we have. Number two is also supply chain negotiation. Okay, how can we negotiate with our suppliers with in terms of payment terms, knowing that they're also having a hard time. And after classifying what are the short-term measures that we need to optimize, short-term costs that we need to cut down and downsize, we then move to long-term. So long-term is we look at more on a marketing perspective. How do we become effective at saving money with the things that are very important? Like number one is marketing. Number two is for us is logistics, because we are in the direct consumer business. So marketing, one of the things that help us downsize our costs and be more effective at spending is we identify different customer types. So by identifying these different customer types, we then classify what kind of marketing strategy do we activate depending on each customer type. So we cannot just do a one marketing strategy that fits for all. We need to identify the different customer types so we can properly market them the different product types that are like that's something that they need. So those are a few long-term measures that we're trying to become more efficient at. So yeah, short-term, long-term.
Short-term and long-term, and then the budget follows after that.
Yes. So by reviewing the different strategies for both, we then move to cost cutting.
Cost, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to throw this question to everyone, and to anyone who wants to chime in, just let us know. But I'll let Sir JP answer this first. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted consumer buying habits, Sir JP. Has our local consumer behavior changed in the industry that you are in? And if so, how did you adapt?
Well, I'll start with supermercado. No? So we had to shut down immediately when the ECQ or the pandemic was announced in Cebu on March 16. We reopened in August with we implemented all the protocols or the guidelines that should be implemented with this pandemic. No? In the second month alone in September, we gained 50% of our pre-pandemic customers, no customer base. So with that customer base that we had, that increased now on October to at least close to 70%. Number one, because supermercado also, that's why as we all signified here, it's based on your industry. Now supermercado is an open air food market, so the risk levels are lower. No? So yeah, we're slowly maintaining and building up our customer base there. But in let's eat by the food community, what we noticed also, like we had a sudden rush of membership. In the first week alone, it doubled from 5,000 to 10,000. In 3 months' time, it became 120,000. Now we're up to 125,000 membership. We noticed also during the GCQ, the post has been lower. because I think everybody has been going out right now. But to also add to Gio's and to everyone's outlook, yes, it's true. You cannot just post just because like there's a lot of engagements in the food community in Let's Eat Buy or other food communities. You have to also know your market, know your niche market, and identify your market. Hence, also with our community, what we're doing right now is like we're encapsulating our whole entrepreneurial ecosystem, which is from hosting in Let's Eat Buy food community to elevating them from e-commerce to a digital platform, which is LEB food and delivery app, which now you can identify your more in your data. So now you can identify your age group, your location, and now you have enough data also to focus more on your business decisions for your market. And after which we shift them to on site to supermercado. So we're right now focused with this whole entrepreneurial ecosystem, and we're about to launch it soon. So going back, yeah, in our end, yeah, our customer base is slowly going up with our
Going up. And then they're more
with our
technology inclined. Yeah, so that's the right
yes,
term.
very much. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Even in supermercado, we're online there also. We're focusing with our online activities.
Very much online right now. Okay,
Yes.
anyone who wants to chime in for that question, to that question rather? All right. So I'll proceed to my next question. I'd like Eric to answer this one, and as well as Joe. Well, how do you avoid potential crisis in your business?
Well, really, the planning it out and having a strategic mindset really works too. Basically, this whole COVID thing actually, for us in Honduras, forced us to really take hard decisions on whether to close our sister company, Books and Brews Cafe, which we eventually did, and so that to cut losses right away, and to close certain branches of Honduras, which were, Honduras was also an experience-based brand because of our music aspect. So we have moved into looking into strategic concepts like focusing only on takeout and delivery na lang, and then laying low on the music aspect. So things are still in the works, but for most of the past months, it's been about survival too. So yeah, I think for me, it's about taking strategic decisions na lang.
Taking such a decision. How about you, Joe? Sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, so for our company, again, we are an e-commerce company. We do a lot of it through partnerships with these corporate clients of ours, and because of the quarantine that happened, the first 2 months, especially, a lot of businesses had to stop operations depending on the industry. So that did have a carryover effect on us, where our customers couldn't go to work and they couldn't continue paying us. What we found to be effective, really, at the end of the day, we really had to, buckle down and weather the storm in a sense where, our customer was hurting. So at the same time, we would like stand with them in that sense. So for that period of time, there were, thankfully a small part of our customer base had to be frozen essentially until they get back to work. What we found effective was like, despite the crisis, and though everyone was affected for sure, what we saw was effective was to really make constant communication with your customer, and to let them know, hey, we're still around, hey, we have these plans, hey, we're going to get through this. And then thankfully, like once the economy started coming back, we were back to business now. So
the key is to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is my last question, and it's for Gio and Ken. How does your team or clients communicate during any crisis?
Interesting.
Let's start with, yeah, Gio, Ken, who wants to start?
I think Ken would be best to start.
Okay, Ken.
What was the question?
Okay, how does your team or clients communicate during any crisis? Like, how do you communicate? when there's a, this pandemic crisis, there's a potential crisis, there's a operational
How do
crisis.
we
How do you
how do we
communicate?
communicate?
Yeah.
Ah, um, but for us, we've built a personal relationship with our clients. They've also become our friends. So communication's been very open, very direct, and honest and transparent. I think those are really key things also because like if either party is holding some information back, then how can we help each other do that? So I think well with online and the internet, I think this is also how we can communicate. Um, FaceTime, Zoom, Zoom meetings, Google meetings, um, and yeah, I think a lot of conversations happen casual and professional to really bring out what's happening. And if your client isn't making sense, I think um, the thing there is to be able to ask the right questions also, and to guide the conversation. Like I think as a consultant, that's kind of what we do. Like we really ask a lot of questions, um, and get answers from there. And sometimes it's not even asking questions; it's just having a casual conversation and trying to dig out the answers from there. So it's been
So
very
we're like a
conversational.
therapist at some point.
Yeah, but it is very conversational and it has to be very open and honest.
All right. So the key is to be honest and always communicate with the clients and your team and build a personal relationship. How about you,
Yeah.
Gio?
So how do we communicate internally? At first, we always consult everyone regarding what they feel about a certain decision, especially a big decision. So our business, we haven't closed during the pandemic. Luckily, we since March up until today, we haven't closed. And the initial measures that we did is we consulted everyone, like how by consulting them with understanding what do they feel, and at the same time understanding how do they want to take part of it. So what first we ask them, what do you feel about still opening but having these measures that we placed wherein we created an environment or a bubble for them, and then moving forward to, okay, how do you want to take part with this kind of strategy? So it's a really more of a consultation base. So from management down to all the employees, we consulted everyone, and after consulting, we then assured them that if you feel any, because operating during the coronavirus is very critical, like health is involved. So we always tell them and assure them that please let us know if you have any concerns or if you're uncomfortable of working, so that we would be happy to hear your thoughts or to hear your inputs. Or that's why we reassure them that it's an open communication, meaning they can communicate easily to us. That has been our culture. Like that's also we have been doing that since we operated. And then after the internal communication, we then move to the external communication. So external is we look at more on the client's perspective, our customers. So before the pandemic, we were very focused on B2B, so business to business. We were supplying restaurants, food chains, coffee. So but during the pandemic, we understand that all the traffic, food traffic has dropped on an all-time low. So we listened to them. How can we help? And we had a few clients who were still operating, so we look for ways on how we can still serve. So we still reassured them that we will look for ways to still do business with you. So I think reassurance to the clients, and then moving forward to the direct to consumer B2C. What we did is since we are very new to the direct to consumer business, and our business model was delivering coffee. We deliver coffee nationwide and also outside the Philippines. Um,
Mhm.
One of the things that we learned is the best way to progress in the direct-to-consumer business is to listen to your consumers. So we listened because we are new and we have a lot of things to work on and strengthen and build on. So what we did is we every time someone purchases from us, this was last March, we always ask them how can we improve. What are we always tell them like thank you for buying a product from us, and what do you think are the aspects of your customer experience that needs to be improved. So by listening to them, that's where we built a better process and at the same time an internal system where I think it's really more of listening, consultation, and absorbing what are the inputs that these key people from employees down to customers will bring into your operation and at the same time your future processes.
That's true. So adapting and implementing it effectively. Anybody from sorry, and Eric, Joe, Sir JP, do you want to chime in for that last question or answer that? Anything to add? None so far. Yeah. So we all do agree that we need to listen. We need to involve our stakeholders, our employees, and we have to be very honest to our clients as well. All right, and that's it. And that ends our DTI Region 7 third installment for YEP, or Youth Entrepreneurship Program. Thank you so much to our speakers, Eric, Joe, Gio, JP, and Ken. All right, so we are holding our YEP webinar series to inspire all our young entrepreneurs out there to start their journey to success by learning from the very best in the country. That was just a taste of all the other fun and informative webinars of the DTI Region 7 has prepared. I hope that everyone was able to learn something new this afternoon, and I hope we will be able to practice what we learned. Because in the world of business, it's not all sunshine. It is very important that we are armed and ready on how to deal with the dark days too. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng ating speakers na dumalo this afternoon. Thank you so much for sharing your stories, for your time, which I'm pretty sure will inspire our youth and start their entrepreneurship journey. And of course, for sharing your very valuable time again. Thank you. Before we formally close out this wonderful session, we have to all our viewers out there who are watching, lalo na para sa mga businesses with the business ideas na matagal na nilang gustong i-chase, don't be afraid. Now is the perfect time for you to start your own business because the information is always available in the digital space. You'll never know until you take that first step. It's going to be hard at first, yes, at maraming challenges along the way. But like our speakers this afternoon, you just have to grit it out and be patient. So if you have an idea that you have been shelving for years now, maybe it's time to dust it off and bring it to life. Go for it. Kami rito sa DTI Region 7 are rooting for you. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Department of Trade and Industry Region 7 for organizing and initiating this webinar. Thank you for providing a platform for our viewers and entrepreneurs to learn from the best in the industry. Maraming salamat po. And if you enjoyed our webinar and want to learn more, please watch all of our upcoming webinars. Of course, as always, our goal is to inspire everyone to kickstart our economic rebuilding and recovery process. Please take note of the following date for our Youth Entrepreneurship Program, or YEP. So on November 10, we have the government programs for entrepreneurs and other webinars. And for our digital marketing strategies for MSMEs webinars, please take note of the following dates. November 5, e-commerce, how to sell your products online. November 12, content marketing, using content to promote your brand. November 19, social media marketing, using social media to connect with your audience. November 26th, Facebook and Instagram marketing tips for MSMEs. As you can see, for upcoming webinars, we have a very diverse set of topics that ranges from how to do digital marketing to government programs for entrepreneurs and other webinars. You can expect that we will still be inviting experts from their respective fields to share their knowledge and give insights about their various topics. Especially for a webinar on November 5, we will be inviting experts to share their knowledge on how you can better sell your products online. So please catch this webinar November 5, 2020 at 2 p.m. Philippine Standard Time via Zoom and Facebook Live, just like today. And these webinars are still all DTI 7's initiative with goal of encouraging businesses to adopt technology solutions and making it safer for both businesses and consumers. As community involvement is critical to the program's success of DTI 7, they hope that the webinars will spark a business sector-led movement for the adoption of smarter and better digital practices for budding and established young entrepreneurs. For more information and stay updated, like and follow DTI 7 at Facebook. That's DTI Region 7 Central Visayas. You can also subscribe to our DTI 7 digital channel on YouTube. So again, thank you for joining. This has been Mary Anna Pali saying that with initiative and collaborative effort, we will always be ready to recover as one safe community, as a common quote from our national hero, Jose Rizal, but still holds true up to this day, ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. So for the youth out there, what are you waiting for? Get started now. Goodbye and stay safe, everyone.